Tech for Senior, episode 79, September 27th, 2021. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Tech for Senior. 82 in the show today. Thank you, everyone, for coming. We really do appreciate you coming. We have a huge show for you today, lots of interesting things. Just to let everyone know, this is actually being broadcast as well over onto YouTube. So welcome to our friends over on YouTube. The format's a little bit different between the two shows. On YouTube, the show will last 50 minutes. And then just before Ray's music segment, it will, of course, we'll stop our YouTube broadcast. And if you want to hop over and see us over on our Zoom broadcast, you can do that, because at top of the hour, we will have a question and answer period for us. And the question answer period will go on for about 20 minutes till about 20 after the hour. And then we'll give everyone a little bit of a bathroom break. And we are going to have, of course, our premiere service. The premiere service is actually where I take last 1 year ago. Today was episode 26. And so this will be episode 26A that will be on our premium service, and A stands for the abridged aspect of it. And I've taken those topics and made them easily available in a very abridged format, so you can use those for your computer club or services that you wish to use it. So we get to reuse some of the information we have spent time doing. This week on the premiere, Hewie is going to talk on backup strategies. Did you know you're talking about that today, Hewie?
I did not remember that I did.
Yeah. Well, if you want to see what you did a great talk on backup.
Yeah.
That's the other reason that I like to go back, because we forget that we did these things. So Hewie's going to talk on that. I'm going to talk about staying connected with friends. And Hewie, you're also going to talk on TV on your device. Do you remember your talk on that?
That I remember.
Yeah. So we're getting into we're also moving up now. So some of Dewey's stuff is going to be coming along now, because this is about the same time last year when Dewey started to do his very popular weekly show. So we'll start to get some of Dewey's involved in this as well. And so these are available, and it will start at 10:30. And then, of course, once it's recorded, once it's on there, it will stay on there. And let's see what else. Okay, let's introduce everybody. Hewie, we had a busy week this last week. What did we do?
Boy, we certainly did, but we had a lot of fun. Of course, Thursdays we do the Tech for Senior Live, where we just kind of chat and just go on and on about all of the technology things that we come across. Some people have mentioned to me that, gosh, you guys do spend an awful lot of time learning about this stuff, and we do. And we share it with you on Thursdays, and we talk about all different topics, a lot of it coming from our Facebook page. And then right after that, the fourth Thursday of every month is our Learning Chromebooks show. And we had a good crowd this past week, and all of the videos that we did, we had a lot of good topics and a lot of interesting discussion as well. So yeah, Thursday was a busy day for us.
It was indeed lots of fun. I had a lot of fun with the Chromebook one. I was like doing that once a month. It keeps me on my toes. Lots of interesting stuff, eh?
Yeah, and then I was all set to do a presentation for today, and then Ron sent me a question that was related but wasn't anything I was going to talk about. And so I redid my session for today.
Thank you so much. Huey's a lot smart. Huey's a lot smarter than I am. So if I can't figure it out, I send it over to Huey, and Huey does a video on it for me and makes it a show, part of the show.
Well, but it also gives me something for this week. And then again, I'm going to do the other one for next week, which is really a follow-up to what I'm doing this week.
Yeah, lots of fun. Where's Bob? Bob, the heck are you doing?
Just fine.
What's new in New Mexico?
Balloon fiesta.
Oh, is that on this week?
Yeah, lots of balloons going up.
Can you see them
from pictures?
Yeah. Can you see them from your house?
No, I'm too far away to see them from the house. When I lived in Albuquerque, they come right over my house. But now that I'm in Las Lunas, I'm too far away.
Okay.
They're big when you're there, then get much smaller when you go far away.
Yeah. Amazing, eh? And then Ray, how is your day going?
So far, so good. It's cooling off now. Nice thing now in Arizona. It's 57 degrees outside. So this is the kind of weather I like.
Mhm. Ray is going to join us this Thursday on Tech for Senior Live and talk about some news broadcasts that we said earlier. And so welcome. We'll see you on Thursday.
Yep.
And later, of course, later today. And then, of course, Bill, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Got two interesting devices for the newsletter tomorrow,
Okay.
which I won't reveal, but I think they're exciting. A bit expensive, but it's more the technology than anything. I think you'll be surprised.
All right. Well, if you haven't signed up for it now, if you want to listen, if you want Bill's articles, you need to sign up for our newsletter. So if you have not signed up for our newsletter, go over to www.techforsenior.com. Bill has a very popular section in our newsletter that comes out on Tuesdays, as well as, of course, Bob does a lot of security talks, as well, a lot more, and it's all available on our newsletter as well. Dewey, how the heck are you doing?
Oh, I'm hanging in there quite well, no problem.
Okay, so listen, the big news today, actually my wife gave me this. This has to do with seniors and space and travel.
He's going to send you to the moon.
William Shatner, beam me up.
Yep.
Going to space with Blue Origin. Decades after his last played his role, William Shatner going to become real-life Captain Kirk again because he's going into space on Jeff Bezos' rocket ship. Though he won't be boldly go where no man's gone before because Bezos and his Blue Origin crew already did it. Sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ the 90-year-old actor is slated to be part of a second crew to take the space flight in the new Shepard capsule. That would make him the oldest person ever to be launched into space. We're told Shatner will be on board on October for the 15-minute civilian flight, similar to the last launch. But what we don't know, but what would be awesome, is if he wears his original Captain Kirk setup. Now, the question is, will he fit in it? I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. Did you know about that, Hewie? That's not a crazy.
Yeah. Robin had pointed it out to me as well.
I know. Gail just gave me this this morning, and she said, you should do this on Tech for Senior. I said, yeah. I said, Captain Kirk, Senior, 90 years old, going into space. Wow, that's pretty crazy. All right, let's get on with it because we have a big show today. Bob, are you up and ready to roll?
Yeah, I will be shortly.
Good stuff.
Here is the Avast Security News Roundup for the week ending September 24th, 2021. Epic data breach impacts 15 million users. Hacktivist group Anonymous leaked 180 gigabytes of stolen data from Epic's servers, including over 15 million email addresses belonging to both customers and non-customers of Epic. According to emails seen by Ars Technica, Epic alerted customers that impacted personal data may include payment information such as credit card numbers, registered names, usernames, emails, and passwords. Epic was also storing on its servers a collected amount of data it had scraped from Whois, and that data was also included in the breach, meaning many users exposed had no direct connection to Epic, a web service provider known to serve right-wing clients, including the Texas GOP, Parler, and 8chan. Sadly, this is yet another data leak, commented Avast security evangelist Louis Corones. All users have to be aware that as long as you have registered yourself in an online service, it is likely that some of your data is already public. That's why it's so critical to use different passwords and activate two-factor authentication. Domain registrar Epic confirmed this breach. 14 accused of identity theft in rideshare and delivery app scheme. The U.S. Department of Justice charged 14 Brazilian nationals, most living in Massachusetts, with identity theft in a nationwide rideshare and delivery app fraud scheme. According to The Verge, court documents outline a complicated fraud scheme involving social security numbers bought on dark websites, driver licenses scans tricked out of unsuspecting customers, bots posing as real people behind accounts, and drivers spoofing GPS so rides seem longer than they actually are. Prosecutors say the alleged scam ring created fake drivers' accounts using the stolen personal information, then sold those accounts to otherwise unqualified drivers, while they collected referral bonuses. Elon Musk Club, the newest cryptocurrency scam. Phishing scams have been taking advantage of the cryptocurrency hype for months, and the latest in this trend is a phony cryptocurrency giveaway circulating in email spam and posing as the Elon Musk Mutual Aid Fund, or the Elon Musk Club. Users are promised free bitcoins through a pyramid scheme hosted by the founder of Tesla and SpaceX. After setting up an account, users are taken through a series of pages that make it look as though other members are donating 0.001 Bitcoin into their account. While the count reaches 0.055 Bitcoin, the user is asked to donate 0.001 Bitcoin to a random user in order to fully receive the 0.055 Bitcoin. Once the user does that, of course, they become a victim, and the scammers make off with the money. The user never receives the 0.055 in Bitcoin, and for more information, see Bleeping Computer. A bit of sad news. Home computing pioneer Sir Clive Sinclair dies at 81. Sir Clive Sinclair, pioneer of the home computer era, died this week at 81 years old in his home in London. Sinclair invented many pocket electronics, but he is best known for his line of ZX computers. I used to have one, which revolutionized the industry by selling at about a fifth the average cost of other home computers during that period. Its main competitor was the Commodore 64. Sinclair is also remembered for some of his less popular inventions, like the Sinclair C5, an electronic trike that performed poorly with reviewers and consumers. It was the ideas, the challenge, that he found exciting. Sinclair's daughter told The Guardian Sinclair is survived by his 3 children, 5 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. CDC study finds online risk factors can lead to suicide-related behavior. An investigation published this week, the Center for Disease Control said that it found the suicide-related behavior among the youths in the study was associated with one or more of the 8 online risk factors: cyberbullying, violence, drug-related content, hate speech, profanity, sexual content, profanity, and low-severity self-harm content. It's important that we pay attention to and really understand the new online risk factors that children are facing today in order to strengthen our prevention efforts. Lead author of the report, Dr. Stephen Sumner, commented, "For more on this story, see ZDNet." This week's must-read on the Avast blog: How Avast is Enabling and Empowering Every Digital Citizen. As a leading consumer digital security company, we felt we needed to do more to help our customers. To this end, today we unveiled not only our new brand identity and new product offering, but we also renewed our commitment to the purpose that has always driven our business: protecting the safety and privacy of people online. We wanted to create a clear break with the traditional shield and castle vision of security, away from the stodgy, know-it-all approach to cybersecurity and toward a fresher, more human perspective. Read more on the link below. And that wraps up this week's Avast Security News Roundup. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Bob. And that is just part of what Bob does. He does a lot of videos each week, so you can certainly see the links to those. If you have subscribed to our newsletter in the section, you'll see some of the work that he does. Well done, Bob. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Now let's see what Dewey has to say this week. We'll should be able to come up here and find Dewey's.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dewey, and my Tech Talk topic for today is a tech news update for 9/27/21. Roku is replacing their popular Streaming Stick Plus with a new product, the Streaming Stick 4K, according to Andrew Heinzman at ReviewGeek.com. Like the long-in-tooth Streaming Stick Plus, the Streaming Stick 4K supports 4K HDR video and comes with a voice remote. Thanks to a new processor, the Streaming Stick 4K also offers Dolby Vision HDR support, faster load times, a 30% faster boot up time, and an upgraded Wi-Fi receiver that doubles streaming performance. It's priced at $45. The new Streaming Stick 4K Plus at $69 is identical to the Streaming Stick 4K, except for having Roku's new premium Voice Pro Remote Pro. This new remote features TV controls, of course, a rechargeable battery, hands-free and push-to-talk voice controls, personal shortcut buttons, a lost remote finder, and a private listening headphone or earphone jack. The 9-inch long Voice Remote Pro also works with Roku TVs and most recent Roku devices. It can be purchased separately for $29.99. A USB charging cable is included, and it'll begin shipping this coming October 14th. Roku also announced a new wireless soundbar for TCL Roku TVs and other smart TVs running Roku software. It should automatically pair with Roku TVs and seamlessly integrate with their volume controls. Along with its new hardware, Roku announced that it's now rolling out its version 10.5 operating system firmware update. This update is very audio focused, adding support for 3.1 or 5.1 speaker configurations. Jared Newman at CordCuttersWeekly.com reports that you'll now be able to launch content from Netflix and Spotify with voice commands and jump straight to the Roku channel's live TV channel guide with an installable home screen tile. See it at the lower right. Not to be outdone, Amazon is introducing its new Fire TV Stick 4K Max streaming device that has Wi-Fi 6 and an Alexa remote that includes TV controls. The cost is $54.99 at Amazon Prime and will be available starting October 7th, 2021. New ReviewGeek.com published a story on September 23rd by Andrew Heinzman detailing Google's announcement of a new hands-free and speech-free accessibility features for Android. Now notice that, hands-free and speech-free accessibility features. And this next paragraph is kind of complicated, so listen carefully. These two features would make Android devices more accessible for those with mobility or speech difficulties. Both features use the phone's front camera to track facial expression and eye gestures. This allows the user to navigate the Android interface, chat with others, or write text-to-speech without using touch controls, touching the display, or the Google Assistant voice commands. The first feature is called Camera Switches, It was first spotted in the August Android operating system 12 beta version. Camera switches replaces physical buttons with face and eye gestures, like moving your eyes right and left or raising your eyebrows to pause and play music. This feature is also customizable. The second new Android feature is called Project Activate and makes eyes and facial gestures even more useful. It allows the user to pair facial gestures with programmable actions. Sounds rather complicated. I've just skimmed the basics, but if you'd like to learn more, I'd suggest going directly to reviewgeek.com to read Andrew Heinzman's article. Google, and this is the title, Google announces new hands-free and speech-free accessibility features for Android. His article also includes links to 2 new short youtube.com videos introducing and explaining these 2 new Android features that are designed for people with mobility or speech handicaps. Switching gears, I'd like to share with you a recent experience I had with my nearly 4-year-old Galaxy S8 smartphone. Chances are that 25 to 35% of our TFSers own a Samsung phone, and some of you may have been similarly affected. A recent Samsung update, like a couple of weeks ago, changed the camera on my Galaxy S8 to now be a part of Bixby Vision. For those of you that don't know, Bixby is Samsung's intelligent assistant, a kind of Hey Google or Siri-like helper that was first introduced in the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus models 4 years ago. Some users embrace it, and others, like me, simply find no need for it. That's the way it goes. Unfortunately, Bixby Vision messed me up by disabling at least one function I totally relied on because of my missing right thumb. Had an accident years ago. That is to use my voice to control the camera's shutter. I could just say smile to snap a photo. I tried but failed to get the voice control function back and decided to call Samsung at their well-known US customer service number. You can read it there, 1-855-726-8721. I described the problem to a Samsung tech who told me that instead I needed to call Samsung Media Solutions at 1-855-795-0509. Now I'm going to post these numbers in our chat box today, so you can catch them there. I was fortunate to connect with an extraordinarily pleasant and knowledgeable stateside techie who told me that though, in other words, he was speaking to me from the US, that told me that though Bixby Vision could not be removed from my S8, he thought he could find a workaround, which he eventually did. At my request, he also removed or disabled other Bixby apps on my S8. However, the next day, several reappeared, which I neutered as best I could. Happily, I can once again snap a photo by simply saying my chosen word, smile. You should see people look when I'm photographing an inanimate object, you know, like a rock or a flower or something, and I say, smile. They wonder. Okay. Your Microsoft account no longer needs a password, according to Dave LeClaire at howtogeek.com. Passwords are rapidly becoming a yesterday method for logging into accounts. And with this in mind, Microsoft has added the option for users to no longer have to use a password to access their Microsoft account. Microsoft is embracing this by letting you make this change through the Microsoft Authentication app, Windows Hello, a security key, SMS verification, or an email verification code. Now, earlier, we're switching gears to automobiles. Earlier this year, GM recalled every Chevrolet Bolt electric vehicle model released since 2017 due to at least a dozen fires caused by its lithium-ion batteries. In fact, they told people to park them 50 feet from their house. The Bolt electric vehicle has 96 nickel-rich lithium-ion 3.75 volt cells that produce a battery voltage of 350.4 volts. I did the math, it doesn't work out, but that's what these specs say. Here are more specs for those born with the car truck gene, which includes me. The current Chevy Bolt has a 259-mile range and gets 119 miles per gallon. Its batteries are made by LG Chem and weigh 960 pounds. They produce a 57.4 kilowatt hours of energy, equivalent to 78 horsepower, and have a peak power of 160 kilowatts, 215 horsepower. The curb weight of the Bolt is nearly 3,600 pounds. For several months, General Motors had said that replacing battery pack would begin in November and run through early 2022. However, according to Reuters, GM and LG Chem fixed the problem more quickly and resumed battery production on September 20th, just a week ago today. The new defect-free batteries will arrive in October. The Reuters report also announced that new diagnostic software would arrive in late December, which will continuously scan battery packs for signs of wear defects. GM advises users to continue to follow its safety guidelines regarding charging batteries to 90% and parking at least 50 feet from other vehicles if it detects a defect. I think that means other houses too. If the software doesn't see any issues, it will eventually allow owners to returning to doing a full 100% charge. Sources for this story on the Chevrolet Bolt include General Motors, LG Chem, Google, and Corey Gunther at reviewgeek.com. Well, that's my Tech Talk story for today, and I'm sure going to stick with this one. Well, you folks now, thanks for watching. You have a great day, and the good Lord willing, we'll be back next week.
Thank you so much, Dewey. You know, it'd be interesting in the question and answer period. If anyone has an electric car and they want to talk about it, it's something interesting. We should maybe have a little chat about it. It's I think the electric cars are fascinating. All right.
At 900 and some odd pounds, you don't want to use that battery on your e-bike.
No, that's true. Although, I read an article this morning and it said, if you tow a Tesla for 10 minutes, if your battery's empty and you tow it for 10 minutes, the regenerating aspect of the battery will give you another 60 miles. So if you got just a 10-minute tow on it, and it would give you another 60 miles. I thought that was interesting. All right, switching from cars to medicine. Let's talk a little bit about something else today. Let's share this and see what I have to say. Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. If you've bought an Apple Watch, a Samsung Galaxy Watch 4, or a Fitbit Sense in the last few months, you've probably noticed there's an ECG app on there. Now, what does that all mean? Well, as a physician, let me explain how this works. If you think this is going to monitor your heart, diagnose you when you're having chest pain and a heart attack, get an ambulance there on time, get you to the hospital, and save your life, well, maybe you better watch this video, all right? Let me explain a few things. Now, you know the old like and subscribe thing. If you like this video, please click the like, and if you subscribe, it really helps us keep making videos like that. Now, will my watch save me? Will it get the ambulance there? What is this ECG app on your watch? Well, let me explain this for you. Now, the goal of this presentation is to teach you 3 things that you need to know. I'm going to explain how the ECG app works on your smartwatch. Then we're going to talk about how your smartwatch actually can save your life. And also at the end, I'm going to give you a tip on a product that you can use that isn't even a smartwatch that can help save your life. Let's look at this slide. It was taken from my very popular presentation called Saving Your Life with Wearable Technology. I'll leave a link in the description below. If you look at the top right-hand picture on your screen, you're going to see a very apprehensive man with one foot in both arms in buckets of water hooked up to some sort of electronic machine. Well, this was the first ECG machine in 1860. So very early on in medical history, we knew that the electrical activity of a heart is important in diagnosing problems. And over the years, we have developed a machine called an ECG, an electrocardiogram, which is all those little stickies, they put on your chest, and then they push a button and it prints out this piece of paper like you'll see on the bottom left corner. This is called an electrocardiogram. So what's the importance of this? Well, it gives us a lot of information about your heart. It tells us about the past. It tells us if you've had a heart attack in the past, if you've had hypertension, all sorts of information on the history of your heart. It can tell us the present. If you're having chest pain in the emergency department and we want to know if you're having an acute heart attack, it helps us make that diagnosis. We can also look into the future of your heart and tell how well your heart is going to do. All these things, past, present, and future, we can tell by doing this electrocardiogram. So in this picture, you'll see on the left-hand side a 12-lead ECG done by a physician in the hospital. And this gives us the past, present, and future that we just discussed. On the right-hand side, you'll see an iPhone connected to an Apple Watch. This also gives us an ECG. But the ECG feature on the Apple Watch, the Fitbit Sense, and the Galaxy Watch 4 only does one thing. It does not give us all that information that a hospital ECG does. Let me explain the information it gives you. If you're over the age of 60, the chances of getting atrial fibrillation go up exponentially each year. So if you look at the graph, you'll see almost a straight line as you get older. Now, atrial fibrillation is a common condition and one that is so important to diagnose. Atrial fibrillation has many complications such as blood clot, heart failure, but the most important one is it is a major cause of stroke. So we want to diagnose this early and get you treatment. This is the sole purpose of the ECG app on your smartwatch. The important thing for you to understand is that the ECG app does not record your heart on an ongoing basis. You need to have some palpitations, feel a bit unwell, or just want to check your heart, so you need to open the app up and initiate it. It doesn't do this automatically if you're having problems. Once you open the app up and turn it on, then you'll need to touch the crown of your watch. Now, all three watches, you have to touch them, but it could be in a different location. So you'll have to read the instruction manual on that. But you need to do an extra physical gesture by touching the crown or the side of the watch to complete the electrical circuit to do the ECG. Once this occurs, you'll have an ECG done in about 20 seconds. This is interpreted on the watch and it will tell you if you have atrial fibrillation. This is being validated and these devices are all being approved by the FDA as level 2 medical devices. So we know that the diagnosis of this is very accurate. Now, once the information is saved on your watch, it's then transferred to your phone where it's stored as a PDF file and can be transferred, emailed, etc. to your healthcare provider. Now in this example on the right-hand side, this is an ECG done of a friend of mine on an Apple Watch, and he does have atrial fibrillation but is on treatment for it, and this ECG shows clearly he is not in atrial fibrillation. So it's important that you understand that the only purpose of this app is to tell you whether you have atrial fibrillation or not. It doesn't do the past, present, and future that we talked about before. It also does record your pulse rate. So the second condition that we have to talk about is the slowing of your heart. Again, if you reach the age of 60, you'll find that the chances of having a pacemaker insertion to increase the rate of your heart goes up exponentially with age. So the chances of you requiring a pacemaker in your 70s or 80s is quite high. It's a part of your body that just wears out, like your knee, or you have cataract surgery, or you have surgery on your hip or your knee for arthritis. So this is a common problem and one that we have to be careful of. So atrial fibrillation, usually your heart rate speeds up. But in this particular case, your heart rate is very slow. And once you get below 50, then you don't feel very well and can certainly have problems with consciousness, which can lead to disastrous results if you fall or driving an automobile. All right, here is a tip for you. Watches continually monitor your pulse rate. Now this is even so with a $10 watch. You don't need a very expensive smartwatch. All watches usually will monitor your pulse rate continuously, not just when you're having symptoms, and it will give you a notification if you're going too fast or too slow. Now in atrial fibrillation, your pulse rate is generally too fast. If you need a cardiac pacemaker, of course your heart is going too slow. So all we need to do is to figure out what's too fast and what's too slow. So we need to monitor your pulse. So what's too fast? Well, it depends really on your activity level and your fitness. So let's say you're 70 years old, you just really are a bit of a couch potato, you don't do a lot of exercise like your doctor says, so maybe your maximum heart rate's around 120. Well, you can easily follow that on your watch and see what it usually gets up to. So then you could set your maximum heart rate is maybe 120. Maybe if you go walking and you're out doing a lot more activity, you might go up to 130 or 140. So you could set the maximum heart rate at that level. Now, if you started to get dizzy or you felt your heart palpitating, look down at your watch. It'll probably give you a notification, say, hey, my heart rate's going at 160 or 150. Now, if you had the ECG app on your watch, then of course you could look at it and it would say if you had atrial fibrillation or not. But you don't have that because you've got a $10 watch. But now if you go to your healthcare provider and say, gee, doc, you know, I got a bit of palpitations in my chest and my heart rate went up and wow, it was 150, 160. That is really significant and certainly a help for us physicians trying to figure out what the heck's going wrong, right? Now the same is for the pacemaker. I would set the minimum heart rate is around 50. And you know, my heart rate personally, it never goes below 60, so I set mine at 60. So again, with a $10 watch, you can figure out if your pulse is too fast or too slow. So if you don't have a smartwatch and you still are interested in the ECG app, then there is a company called AliveCor. They make a device called Cardia Mobile, which can be purchased at Best Buy for under $90. This device has an app with it and it goes on your cell phone. The device is small and can fit on your key ring and can diagnose atrial fibrillation. It is FDA approved. It does store the ECG on your phone and could be emailed to your healthcare provider. Your heart and your watch. Please remember to like and subscribe. Till we meet again, Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. All right, there we go. Hewie, are you ready to roll?
Screen and font size, how to change the settings. I'm Hewie Poplock. We're going to look at it from the operating system and from your browser. First, let's go to the operating system. For our example, we're going to use Windows, and so you go into the Windows settings and then go to System and Display. Scroll down and you will see scale and layout. And that's what we're going to work with. Under scale and layout, to change the font of the text, apps, and other items, it's set at 100%, which is the recommended. Any change you make here is making it throughout your entire operating system. This is what it would look like on your screen at 100%, set at 1920 by 1080. More on that coming up. Let's change it to 150%. In other words, we want the text and apps and other items to be larger by 50%. And let's see what that would look like. You'll see that it fills up the screen. It's much larger, but you can only get so much on your screen. You can only get a few of the icons. And so if you have a lot of icons on your screen, it's going to either fill them up or overflow, and you won't see them. Here is a comparison of what the two look like. These are at the same screen resolution, but a different font size. Again, that's by operating system. Notice how few icons you could get on the screen compared to what it would be at 100%. Now let's move to the display resolution. That's the number of pixels across and down. It's currently set on my system at 1920 by 1080, and that's recommended. When you open up this screen, you may see a different recommendation. That will depend upon your amount of graphics memory and the resolution of your display. In other words, your screen. Those two items together will determine the maximum and the recommended size for your display resolution. Mine is 1920 by 1080. On my laptop, it is considerably less. On my laptop, it's 1360 by 768. It's currently at 1920 by 1080. We're going to change it at 1360 by 768. This is what it would look like. And again, zooming in, this is how big that screen would look like. So again, the desktop at 1360 by 768 looks like this, and at 1920 by 1080 would look like this. Now let's switch over to the browser and the browser settings on a Chromebook for the operating system as well as the browser. But we're going to just talk about the browser by itself on your PC or Mac or whatever operating system that you're using. You go to the Google settings. This will be similar in other browsers. Go to settings, and then you're going to scroll down to appearance. You have a font size and a page zoom that we can play with. Let's try first the font size. It's set at medium, or that's the recommended. And this, it would be a typical website at that setting. If we change it, we'll change it to be very large. As soon as we do, we see the text in the settings increase. And when we look at the website, you'll see that it's set up a little bit different. And you're seeing the menu on 2 lines instead of 1 line across, and the title in 3 lines instead of 2 lines. And you're seeing less on the screen. So there's a comparison of the two. Now let's move down to the page zoom in the settings. It's set at 100%. It looks like this. At 150, it looks like this. You'll see the menu's not even there. It is a drop-down menu. You click on it, and you will then get a list of the items and choose. Again, let's take a look at a different page. Google Zoom at 100%, 125%, and 150%. Each time you increase it, you get less on your screen. The menus are truncated, things are wrapping, and when you change it, the appearance by the page or the website developer may not be what they intended it to be, or it may not look just right, but you can read it better. That's it for this section. Next week, we're going to talk about magnify, size text on the fly, and more. There we go.
There you go. Thank you. I understand it now. That was great. You cleared it all up for me. That was super duper. Thank you. Excellent. Bob, did you get your segment ready? We have one more section from Bob, and then we will move into Ray.
So what's the difference between a VPN and a GPN? A VPN is a great solution if you want to bypass geo-blocking and surf the web anonymously and securely, since it masks your IP and encrypts your traffic. A GPN relays traffic to the target server, and it tunnels only real-time game communications, so it's a good option for gamers since it helps reduce latency. Although you might be tempted to think that VPNs and GPNs are similar, given that their acronyms differ only by one letter, the two are quite dissimilar and were made for different purposes. A virtual private network is a service that, after you connect to one of its secure servers, routes all your internet traffic through an encrypted tunnel that no one can look into, not even your internet service provider. In addition, it masks your ISP-provided IP and spoofs your current physical location by replacing it with a new virtual geolocation. This is done by assigning you a new IP depending on the country and specific location of the server you connect to. Because of that, to its users, namely, they secure your traffic and data, anonymize your online activities, and allow you to bypass geo-blocking. This way, you can conduct your online sensitive businesses, like online banking, in a very secure way. You shouldn't worry anymore about third parties spying on you, and you'll also be able to access websites, streaming services, games, apps, etc. that are not available in your country or region. A GPN, or Gamer's Private Network, on the other hand, does not provide any of the previously mentioned VPN features, but is specifically optimized for improving your online gaming experience. What a GPN does is to relay your traffic as it is to the target gaming server, while also prioritizing the speed between your device and the server during your online gaming session. The GPN only handles online game traffic and tunnels only selected real-time game communications in order to provide you with the fastest route to the gaming servers. It does not encrypt your traffic or hide your activity, nor does it assign you a new IP to allow you to circumvent geo restrictions. GPNs are only targeted at optimizing your online connections by redirecting your real-time game data to an optimized path to the game server. The GPN will increase your gaming speed and help you reduce latency, ping, jitter, and packet loss, which often annoy you and frustrate you big time. So let's cover those differences again very quickly. A VPN is designed to keep you safe and your data encrypted. A GPN is designed to speed up your online gaming. Now that you know the differences, choose the right tool for the right job. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
I thought that was so interesting, but unmute yourself, Bob.
Yeah. Sometimes something that looks or sounds the same, almost the same, is totally different.
Yeah, I always thought that was so interesting because I've never even heard of a GPN. I don't know a lot of gaming, but I've even heard of a GPN before.
A gamer does know GPN.
So it's a service then you'd subscribe to, like a VPN, eh?
Well, it speeds up the
Yeah.
process of your game, right?
Oh, interesting. Wow. Okay. Well, you learn something every day. All right. Listen, Ray, are you ready? Let me just say goodbye to our YouTube friends over there, and then we will get on with your segment. For those of you over on our YouTube channel, thank you very much for coming. We'll see you same time, same place next week. If you want to hop over, we've got 91 people in the audience right now. If you want to hop over here, we've still got some space for you for the Q&A afterwards. So we'll see you next week. Ray, if you are ready to go, I'm just stopping the live stream. Go ahead.
All right. Musical Youth Got Talent. All these different talent shows. The birth of rock and roll brought with it many young singers, not only teenagers, but in some cases preteens. But in recent times, this is not so much the case. And I'm sure there are really good reasons to let a youngster grow before being thrust into the rigors of the adult music world. But today I'm going to share with you 2 clips that show music talent among the young is alive and well. The first clip is shown in its entirety, while the second one I've shortened using some of the video editing skills I picked up this summer. Now, the first video takes place in 2010 at New York's Chelsea Guitar Shop in Manhattan. A father brings to the store his 13-year-old son named Brendan McFarlane to show the owner how the boy can sing. I presume a friend or relative is doing the video recording. Now, as Brandon starts to belt out the song, you can tell just by the reaction on the owner's face the amazing talent he's witnessing. He stops Brendan in mid-sentence so he can start over to make sure he has a quality recording. All the time you can see a store worker in the background who does not miss a beat while eating his noodles for lunch. Brandon is singing the song Just Another Day, which was recorded in the mid-50s by the legendary Sam Cooke when he was with the Soul Stirrers gospel group. Now, the second clip shows Taj Farrant. This young man was born in May of 2009 in Australia, and he was invited on stage by Carlos Santana for a jam session at the Las Vegas House of Blues in early 2020. At this incredible young age, Taj has already competed on Australia's Got Talent and appeared on the Ellen DeGeneres Show. He's the youngest guitarist ever to be endorsed by the famed Gibson Guitar Company. Now, early in the video, as the two start to jam, you'll see Carlos go over to the amp to make sure the sound level is correct for Taj. How special is that? Instead of this 10-year-old being intimidated by one of the greatest guitarists ever, Taj takes his own stride, just as if he was jamming with a same-age buddy. In fact, at one point, Taj points to Santana, telling him it's his turn to play. At age 11, Taj recorded and co-wrote his first single and, of course, played lead guitar. Only time will tell what is next for this amazing young talent. So let me make one change here.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Now, when was that taken? When was the year of that?
The guitar one at the end was in 2020, so just before the pandemic hit in Las Vegas.
So what is it, his career has gone on now, or what?
Oh yeah, he's actually released a record, and he's becoming famous. Yeah, but you heard him here first.
Well,
The young singer.
to play with Santana.
Yeah, and not be intimidated. Just another guy, another guitar player.
I love that. Your turn.
Yeah,
The young
like
singer.
Yeah,
What kind of a
amazing.
voice does he have now?
You know, you can actually find him. There's another YouTube video, and that shows him. His voice is not nearly as powerful as it was when he was 12 or 13. So sometimes you get that voice, you hit puberty, and all of a sudden it's gone.
Yeah.
Right. I had a great soprano voice. You don't want to hear my voice now.
You got that
It
right.
certainly isn't soprano.
No, it's not.
You know what? It's top of the hour. Well, I mean, aced it again, the same as last week. It's right on 10 o'clock. It's amazing, or top of the hour, whatever time zone you're in. So I want to thank everyone for coming. Thank you so much for being here and supporting us. We'll be moving into the question and answer section now. But before we get there, I just want to remind you, that the premiere version of Tech for Senior 26A is on at past. And Hewie will be talking up backup strategies. Remember that, Hewie? You did a good job on that. And I'm going to be talking on sharing, staying connected to your friends. And then Huey's going to also talk on TVs on your device. And that's all at 10:30 on our premiere service, which is our YouTube channel. If you want to know how to get there, just go over to our website and click the button. And it'll take you right to our YouTube channel. And that's where it will start at 1:30. And we'll see everybody. For those of you who have to leave and can't stick around for the Q&A, thank you for coming, and we will see you same time, same place next week. And I'm going to open it up for questions now. If you could, in the reactions at the bottom of your screen there, you'll click on the little reactions button and you'll be able to raise your hand. When you raise your hand, you pop up right on the list here and we can sort of see who you are, because there's a lot of people in the audience right now, so it's hard to see all the screens. Failing that, yell, scream, do whatever you have to do to get our attention, and we'll certainly try and answer your questions. Bill, go ahead.
Yes, I was wondering how many people have tried the Chromebook gamified training that you guys recommended.
Yeah, I don't know. Has anyone tried the gamify training?
It's fun and helpful.
Yeah, I didn't actually try it. Did you do it, Bill?
No, not yet. I was waiting to do it with my wife.
Yeah, no, I haven't done it. Sorry, can't answer that. Murray, go ahead. Did that answer your question, Bill? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, Murray, go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to say hello from my new location. I have just moved now to Douglas House. We've still got a whole pile of boxes to unpack. Don't know where some things are. Don't know what we've forgotten. And of course, brought lots of stuff that we shouldn't have. If anybody wants a whole bunch of cables, I've got tons that I'm probably going to get rid of. Anyway, I will be having my back surgery is scheduled for next week, October 6th. And I hope that I'll recover from that fairly quickly and that it will actually happen. You never know in these COVID times, but I'm hoping that it'll go ahead and that it will make me more mobile and able to do things more easily. But I just want to say hello to everybody.
Yes, hello. And the big thing is, do you have a fast internet connection at your new place? Unmute yourself.
I have my I had my Shaw moved over here.
Okay.
And I actually got my television all connected up finally. I still only have one laptop connected, and I'm still relegated to using my iPhone, which is I'm not very adept at the iPhone, but that's what I've been having to use for the last long while. And it'll probably be a while before I get any of my computers connected.
There you go. Hey, is anyone here have an electric car? I mean, I thought nobody, I just want to know, do you like it or not? Does anyone have a...
Well, I don't have one myself, but I just saw an article, and I'm sorry I didn't copy the link, but it says why electronic vehicles are not so eco-friendly. It just came out today. I forget what channel it was on, but it was an article about it's a little bit like the compact fluorescents. I think they were a big scam. I think when you really analyze it, they weren't at all energy efficient or eco-friendly when boiled down to everything. Probably something similar with the cars.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, but just interested in... Bill, do you have one?
No, our son has gone through 3 of them on leases, though, and he loves them.
Which ones does he have? The Tesla? Does he have the Tesla?
No, he had... let's see, the Nissan, a Kia, and I think another Nissan, if I remember right. He loved them. Then the pandemic hit, and he's been working from home since, so he hasn't needed a car.
Yeah, that's the issue that I'm facing, is that we just don't go anywhere. I mean, my sole drive will be to Costco this afternoon and back, and that's my outing for the week. That's it. Dorothy, do you have an electric car?
No. And
you got electric. Go ahead.
No, and I would not. I had a neighbor that thought that was the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And he could only drive about 100 miles before he had to stop and recharge his batteries.
Right.
And that took about 2 hours or so to recharge. So virtually he could go from Oklahoma City to Tulsa, Oklahoma, sit up there, recharge, and turn around and drive back. I don't want to just go 100 miles and have to stop and recharge. Bad enough to go 300 and have to stop for gasoline.
All right. Thanks, Dorothy. George, you have an electric bike. I have an electric bike. We like our electric bikes. What?
Yeah, but you don't get any sympathy from the electric car owners who want you to pay for their electric installations. And all that.
I know.
Bill, I think it was Bill who said that his Chromebook wouldn't manage Google Home, right?
Right.
But I texted him back and said I just tested it and I can control my lights from my Chromebook. Maybe his machine didn't have Android on it. Maybe it was an older machine. But and I have a Google Home, and then I have Sengler lights, and yeah, it turns them on and off. That's what I want. So that was from the Chromebook. The app came up. I was able to control the lights. So I don't know.
Which app did you have loaded on your Chromebook? What was
Home.
It? Google Home. Okay, great. Good news. Yeah, I would assume once you put it on your Chromebook, it should work, eh?
Yeah, if you have to be able to load Android apps.
Okay, I'll try that. I wasn't able to get it working, but I'll try it again. Maybe they've done some updates.
Okay.
For your George, for your Sengler lights, do you have the Sengler hub, or do you just plug them in?
No, I don't use that.
You don't use it.
I bought one, but I never installed it.
Okay.
But George, you're using Google Home, right?
Yeah, I have a home device, right? A Google Home device that you
Okay.
Say.
Okay. Thanks, George.
I'm finding I'm asking it more and more questions. It's nice to be able to call out from the kitchen what's the change from Fahrenheit to Celsius and back.
Yeah.
When you're cooking.
That's true. Yeah. Thanks, George. Dewey, what have you got?
I'm still back on electric vehicles. I received an email a few days ago from Cadillac, which said that it was featuring the new Cadillac all electric. I think it's a 2022 model, and it's called the Lyriq, spelled Lyriq. And what was significant, I believe the email stated that in 2023 or so, or sometime in the near future, Cadillac is going to be all electric. I already know that Volvo is going to be all electric, so they are here to stay.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I think I mentioned this on our Thursday show. I'm pretty sure it's Norway. If I've got this wrong, I apologize. But I think Norway is by 2025 will be totally electric. You will not be able to buy gas there. They'll have no electric car or no gas cars whatsoever. Everything will be all electric. So interesting, eh? John, go ahead.
I saw a news article over in the last week or two about, I believe it was a Chevy Bolt or something, electric car that they cautioned not to park within 50 feet of another vehicle because of spontaneous combustion. Batteries burn up.
Yeah, that was the Volt, the Chevy Volt. That's what we talked about earlier.
That was what we talked about, and that is a big problem because, of course, this has a bigger issue, particularly in this particular case when they're telling you not to charge it in charging stations in your house. Now, what happens if you're a condo owner or you live in a big underground parking garage and you want to charge your vehicle down there? Or what's coming up now with a bunch of condo associations are people buying electric cars and wanting to retrofit condos with a charging station in their unit. So who pays for that? And then if you have a Bolt now and you're charging it underground in one of those units, does that affect your insurance rates? So there's all sorts of interesting things coming up about this. It's an interesting topic. Jim, have you got anything any thoughts on that?
Yeah, one of the things that I've often wondered about is with the shortage of rare earths, which these things run on, lithium-ion batteries. You know, since China's our major supplier, apparently, you know, what are we doing with, how do we recycle them, and what's going to happen to them, you know, as more and more vehicles become all electric? And that's been a concern for quite a while. When you talk to salesmen, they said, don't worry about it. The company's going to take care of it. The company will recycle them for you. But that doesn't tell me much of anything.
Yeah.
That's also what they said about uranium. And now that you have to store it someplace, that's where the problems come up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, they make
another point, if I just throw this in for future suggestion. I was listening to Geeks on Tour on Sunday. While I was off my phone while I was walking the dog, and I lost the signal. But they were talking about a major change to Google Photos coming October 1st, where you needed to either import or they were going to switch over to a Google app on your desktop to get your photos let up on. I'm going to have to track it down and find it, but since I think many of us use Google Photos, it might be something for you guys to consider, you know, in the future.
What they talked about was the sync portion of Google Chrome. That app was changing to Google Desktop, that you to a desktop version. So it has nothing to do with Google Photos. It has to do with storage and how you send the stuff up to the cloud.
Jim, it's well explained. Just watch it again. It's on, you know, they have it online, and you probably didn't get the whole story because of your phone. So just watch the show again. It's online now, and it'll explain it for you.
Okay, so it's on their YouTube, Geeks on Tour.
Yep. It's posted. Yep, it's there. George, go ahead.
You were asking about the condo on the strata. So we have in our 100-unit condo, we have 3 owners who have electric vehicles, and they all piled into the council and got the council to approve, with the owner's permission, paying for the installation of a charger at $7,000, which they're not contributing to in any way. They're paying for the electricity, but they're not paying at all for the installation. So that's how it goes in stratas, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's
not very fairly, in my view.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a big issue. It's going to come up, and you're right. And this is going to be a big issue in retrofitting as more and more.
Yeah, we have we didn't have enough power in our panel for these chargers, so it's a $7,000 electrical job just to install 1 or 2 more chargers.
Right. And now if they have a bolt, and which they're recommending they're charged outside, and they charge them in the underground parking in the condo, are you liable to the fire if they catch on fire and do damage? Who's responsible? So there's some interesting questions coming up, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
It hasn't been really thought through very well.
Yeah.
This just goes to prove it pays to watch who you vote for.
Roberta, go ahead. Unmute yourself. No, you're still muted. You hit the space bar. There you go. There you go.
I did hit the space bar, but it didn't work. In our area, we get a lot of hurricanes in Florida, and one of the fellows in one of my groups had a electric car. He ran his refrigerator and main house items off his electric car battery during the hurricane. So that's one thing that is a positive about the electric cars.
Yes, and I thought about that the other day, but here's the problem. If you're in a hurricane, if a hurricane's barreling down on you, and you have to get out of that area, right? And there's like 1 million people leaving, and you've got 100 miles on your car, and then it's got to be charged. How are you going to do that? Like, at least if you have gas, you can get, you can keep going. and usually get quite a ways away. But I can see that as being a big problem.
But a lot of us stay that are not in low-lying areas. I've never left, and I've been in 13 hurricanes at least.
Okay, good point.
He used the electric car battery to run his main, like, freezer and refrigerator.
Yep.
Maintain the house.
Yeah. Well, Tesla actually makes that available for you. In fact, you can buy, there's Tesla banks of batteries that you can buy that actually go in your house, and you can actually use your solar panel to charge the Tesla, not car battery, but the internal Tesla battery. Now, I know in your situation, in that situation you're describing, you just plug it back into the house grid, and away it works. Yeah, it's pretty cool, eh?
Tesla also goes a lot further than 100 miles.
Yeah, it does.
It depends on what you buy.
I think the new batteries that are going into the Bolts, and the new Bolts that are just being produced, gets about 300 miles on it. Carl, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a retired electrical engineer, and there's a lot of unintended consequences that we're getting the cart before the horse, so to speak, with these EVs. The electric grid isn't equipped for it. Older communities like Detroit, they at best have 60 amp, or older cities, 60 amp electrical service. They talk about these fast chargers. I think George said, they had to upgrade their service. That's not inexpensive. When I built my home here 45 years ago in Sparta, I only had 100 amp service. I now have a 200. And basically for that is to give you more circuit breakers too. But not everybody has 200 amp service.
That's right. That's true. Yeah, for sure. Bill, any more? Carl, is that okay? Okay, Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, can you imagine during a hurricane seeing somebody with a generator strapped to their roof and get away?
Yes, you could. Eh? You could turn it on, strap it to the roof, and then charge your car, right? Yeah, I guess so. Very interesting. Interesting. So listen, I hope everyone enjoyed my my watch video. And so you can take your $10 watch, and you can get a lot of use out of that just by choosing the maximum minimum heart rate. So it really does help us physicians make the diagnosis if you're getting into some trouble. So be kind to your physicians and help them. That's my advice. So and certainly share that video around I think it should be helpful. And you don't have to spend a lot of money on a $300 watch. You can do it with a $10 or Bob, you've got the $30 Weiss watch, or $20 Weiss. Yeah.
Works very well.
Yeah, you can set your maximum minimum. Most watches will let you set your maximum and minimum rates on that.
Do you like
Most
your
important
watch, Bob?
Roberta, what did you say? Sorry?
Do you like your Wise watch?
I don't have a watch.
Bob,
yes.
Yes, I do. For the price, you're getting your money's worth. And then some.
There you go. All right, listen, we're going to wrap it up there. Thanks, everyone, for coming. That was a great show today. Thanks, everyone, for contributing. Thank you for coming. We'll see everybody next Monday, same time, same place.
And the bottom line is stay alive so you can come on next week and watch us again.
and also we can see you on Thursday. Ray's going to be with us on Thursday morning. We're going to talk about technology, all the latest tech articles we publish every day on our website, Tech for Senior, on Facebook. If you want to follow along, look at those articles. They're there every day. So we'll be talking about those on Thursday morning, and then we'll be around and here next week for our, what is it going to be, 79? Oh, next week's 80, Hewie?
80 weeks. 80 weeks we've been doing
80, not even so much as a break, right?
I know.
80 weeks to go with my 80 years.
There you go, 80 weeks. So next week will be 81. Yep, there you go. All right, thanks for coming, everyone. We'll see you again in another week. All right, bye-bye now.
Bye, everybody.